Well folks, the news just doesn't stop coming. There's a brand new behind the scenes video for Jurassic World Rebirth called Filming in the Wild. And generally it's just about how the film was largely shot on location, what that was like for the cast and crew. There isn't that much in the way of new material here, and yet there kind of is. Let's take a look, because interestingly what we do have here are two scenes which are a direct match with scenes we'd already seen in earlier trailers. I've said the word scene too many times, but they've been changed pretty dramatically in some ways since those first trailers. The first is this moment. Now this is assumedly early on in the film where the Dino Gang TM meet the Titanosaurs for the first time. Loomis turns around and spots this long whip-like tail rising out of the grass with this giant open valley beyond, but, well, it didn't look like that last time, did it? This is what the old clip looked like for comparison, and from this point on, I'll play them synced up with one another. First of all, the tail is a little bit longer now, it's a little bit more almost otherworldly in how long it is, unreally in how long it is, and its strange movements. But the background, of course, is the big shift here. Now this is one of two things I would suggest. Either the old backdrop was real and has now been replaced with the CGI version they wanted all along, or both versions are CGI and they decided to bring in a new one to align better with the film scene. Because of course, as we've seen, the Titanosaurs are roaming this gigantic open valley, so the new CGI does make more sense thematically and logically with what's going to come after. That said, I do think I prefer the old scene. The new one I think has a very slight hint of green screen to it that the old one didn't. But I am cautious to fret too much about stuff like this because, well, as you can see, even though we're barely a month from release, things have been changed all the time here. The CGI isn't the only shift you may have noticed here though. The colour of the shot has changed as well. The original trailer was very warm, very yellow in its colour grading. And as you'll see throughout these new clips, the new one has a bit more of that blue hue shift we associated so strongly with Jurassic World. I think that'll panic some people, I've seen it already, but I don't think it's really noticeable in any of the clips, and really it more so feels like the colour shifting has gone back to a more naturalistic sort of palette more than anything else. It's definitely not as egregiously blue as Jurassic World was. I would say the same colour shift is even more noticeable though in this second repeated scene we have, the Delgado kid being spotted by the Dilophosaurus. The new colours are far bluer in tone than the old ones, with shadows appearing much darker as a result. Now this has had a pretty positive effect on the Dilophosaurus. I don't know if the colours were changed on the model itself or they were being washed out by the old colour grading, but as you can see the separation between that burnt orange and the yellow is much more clear on the new clip than it is on the old clip. There's been CGI shifts here in the background, although they're a little bit more subtle. They're mainly in this area where the T-Rex is, we believe, sleeping behind this growth. Now in the old clip, the top of the T-Rex was very clearly visible above the foliage. And whilst it is still there just a little bit in the new clip, it looks like it's been moved down and made a little bit more subtle. The T-Rex is better hidden now. Further side note, this tree has also changed. Why? I couldn't possibly tell you. You could suggest the smaller tree makes it less conspicuous, like it's actively trying to hide something, but at some point it starts to feel like sort of Mindhunter levels of meddling, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the Mindhunter CGI videos on YouTube just to see how anal David Fincher is about this kind of stuff. It's really interesting to watch actually. Regardless, what Rebirth has shown consistently and very importantly is a very strong adaptability. The film has had a very tight turnaround in development, and we've got some other things that popped up today and yesterday that really showcase the exact same thing. Now, Dino Dream, they're a company who makes some pretty superb Jurassic Park licensed statues, have released their new size chart for a new line of figurines. Now, this is a specific line of figurines. Please don't panic, there's no Velociraptors here, because I've seen that as well. There's no Ankylosaurus either. And it's just focused for this figure line on, the major players by the looks of things, which unfortunately Velociraptor just doesn't seem to be. Regardless, the interesting bit here is this long-necked lad right here. Now this could simply be more dimorphism between the Spinosaurus trio, but as you can see the neck is noticeably longer in this iteration of the Spinosaurus. I'd say up to 40% or so longer. It's a really noticeable change. Now that was one of the big complaints people had on the Spinosaurus design, and I do wonder if it's just taken a little bit of tweaking in the CGI since the film was first revealed. And perhaps that's why we didn't see the Spinosaurus at all in the second trailer. Indeed, we haven't seen an in-film image of the Spinosaurus since that first trailer. It's all been toys and marketing and posters, etc. Honestly, I think this is actually a pretty fantastic Spinosaurus design at this point, and even if it is only one of the three, I'm glad this one is in the film, and whoever you are, you're my favourite. It's not just the Spinosaurus that changed though, the Titanosaurus has undergone some pretty dramatic shifts as well. Now in the past we've pointed out the pattern and coloration changes, but in these two official renders, as gathered by Mr. Goji on Twitter and found initially by Collect Jurassic I believe, you can see a huge shift in the design of the head. The old one on the left looks like this bizarre D-Rex sauropod xenomorph hybrid with those old man wrinkles that possessed the old Jurassic World Apatosaurus. The new one has that same bulbous nasal area, but it's been reduced a little bit and shifted downwards. It's got smoother skin, it's got more evocative patterning and coloration, and the sail spine is much more prominent here as well. It is such a monumental improvement over the old one that it's kind of staggering that both come from the same franchise. On one hand, horrendous, on the other something pretty beautiful. As I say, it's safe to say CGI work on this film is being done right up till the end. We've got a new official render for the D-Rex as well, as found on this card. I don't know where this came from. We'll talk a little bit more about the design in just a second, but the interesting thing on the card are the words interspecies symbiosis. Now, I've been suggesting for a long time that the D-Rex is an early attempt at creating what would eventually become the Indominus Rex. It's got those big usable arms, it's got the ferocity, and in terms of the timeline, it kind of lines up perfectly. I'm not going to call this confirmation, but I would say this is now looking more and more likely. Interspecies symbiosis certainly suggests that this thing is a hybrid in nature, rather than just a mutated T-Rex, which is, I think, what we all originally speculated. The design itself, I don't have too much to point out. We've talked about the D-Rex ad nauseum at this point. The goofy little so-and-so that it is, it really does look very goofy here. I love it. It's certainly browner here, and it seems to get lighter and browner with time, perhaps an attempt to bring it closer to the original T-Rex design, and you can see a little bit of that here in some details. For example, you can make out the little dew claw now on the sort of side and back of the D-Rex feet. And there's also some light striping, which I don't think I saw before, across the arms. These are aspects of that original T-Rex design breaking out through the mutations. Our final topic, and I can't believe I've got this much to talk about after talking about so much in yesterday's video, but Funko Pop recently announced their full line of Pop collectibles, and there are two very surprising conclusions here. One of those is the Diabloceratops, clad in crimson red with that mega pointed frill and a nose horn that Diabloceratops just didn't have, frankly. The other strange inclusion is this, the Carnotaurus. It's got a new design. It's not the sort of reddish, blackish, burnt looking one we have in Jurassic World, but it's much lighter in its brown. It's got red patches around the eyes and down the back. Well, why is this weird? Well, it's weird because Funko Pop don't release designs that aren't in the film. Ever. That's kind of their whole shebang, you know, that's what they do. Why are they making Diabloceratops and Carnotaurus? It's hard for me to see how these two could possibly fit into the film. Now, perhaps the Diabloceratops has replaced the rumoured Triceratops in the final cut. Perhaps both dinosaurs are part of a news segment at the very start of the film, kind of bridging the gap between Dominion and Rebirth. Perhaps they're just there in the background. On the flip side of that, are we finally about to see the camouflaged Carnotaurus from the Lost World novel finally come to life? It would be a perfect fit for that gas station scene we have. It would be a great fit in general as well for the genetic meddling vibe of the film, and if the D-Rex does turn out to be a precursor to the Indominus Rex, then the camouflaging of the Carnotaurus could be their early experimentations with that same genetic meddling. I believe it was cuttlefish DNA, if I remember right, for the Indominus Rex. Maybe they breed a Carnotaurus with cuttlefish DNA, and eventually that gets integrated into the Indominus Rex. Again, it's hard to see where this would fit into the film though, unless something is being dropped. It is worth noting, and I think this probably is going to be important, these two dinosaurs specifically are Funko and Target exclusives, one for each. Whereas all the other Funko Pops, the ones that we know are in the film, they are wider release. So the two new strange ones are exclusives. That and the absence of human Funko Pops means they had to round out the line a little bit more. There's no Loomis, there's no Zora this time around. And it makes me think that maybe Funko are plugging the gaps with other dinosaurs. These would be odd choices though. Why not say the Ankylosaurus, for example? I really don't know what to think about this one, if I'm honest with you folks. It is so random if it is random. Can they really fit into the film in any real way? Just how many dinosaurs are being crammed into this film that we don't know about? Anyways, that is my lot for today. I don't know how this all happened in about 24 hours, but indeed it did. New things just drop over and over again. It's very exciting. Let me know what you think about all this. How would you feel about the Dibloceratops, or in particular, a camouflaging, potentially, Carnotaurus making it into Jurassic World Rebirth? Give me your thoughts in the comment section down below. Throw me a like for more Jurassic World nonsense, and hopefully from this Friday, fingers crossed, Jurassic World Evolution 3 nonsense. It's very exciting times in the fandom. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll see you lovely folks very, very soon. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.